anal sex shouldn't hurt. So you want to try anal sex, but you don't know where to start. Don't worry, whether you're curious about trying it for the first time or looking to explore new ways to enjoy it, I've got you covered with everything you need to know. Hey there, I'm Lauren Consul, a licensed marriage and family therapist and certified sex therapist, here to help you have more satisfying and secure sex and relationships. First off, why even explore anal play? Well, people will cite a lot of different reasons. One is that you're exploring something new and different and experiencing different sensations, and that can be exciting. On top of that, the taboo nature of anal play can add some extra layers of excitement because it's something that you're not supposed to do or is not talked about. Now, other people talk about having an orgasm during anal play can be a really different, sometimes more intense or exciting sensation, and they like to explore that. Trying something different or new sexually can also allow you to explore new sides of your sexual self and sexual interests and your sexual relationship with your partner. And if you're engaging in anal play with a partner, it can deepen intimacy and connection because trying something new requires vulnerability, and vulnerability breeds intimacy. So you guys are ready to try anal sex or anal play. Now, you're probably not going to be surprised at this first thing I'm going to say is that communication is always a great place to start. Talk openly about what you want from the experience, what would make you feel both more comfortable, what you're excited and nervous about, or any concerns that you might have. And this conversation may be more or less involved or in depth, depending on your current and past sexual experiences and your comfort with exploring new things. But no matter where you fall, communication is always important. Now that we have that communication out of the way, and if you need some tips on how to communicate better, check out some of my other videos, but let's talk about actually getting into the nitty-gritty of stuff. So let's talk about preparation and safety. Now, unlike the vagina, the anal canal doesn't produce natural lubrication, so lube is an absolute must. But you want to pay attention to what type of lube you're using and what you're using to insert into the anus. Water-based lubes are generally recommended because they're compatible with all condoms and all sex toys. But keep in mind, water-based lubes can dry out more quickly and need reapplication, and some people find that water-based lubes are not quite as luxurious is often the word I hear. Silicone-based lubes tend to last longer and tend to have a more luxurious feeling, but again, that's going to come down to preference, and are also generally safe with all condoms, but they are not compatible with silicone toys, or if you happen to have a silicone condom. The concern more is usually with silicone-based toys because many sex toys are made out of silicone, so if you're using silicone-based lube with a silicone toy, it's going to degrade that toy. So you want to pay attention to, if you're using toys, what the material of the toy is, as well as the material of the lube that you're using. Now, if you're simply using fingers or a penis, go with whatever lube you prefer. Now, my favorite silicone-based lube is Uber Lube, which I will link below. There's almost no risk of pregnancy with anal sex, but you're still going to want to think about condom use to help prevent the transmission of STIs, because anal sex can have a higher risk of spreading STIs because the lining of the anus is thin, and again, there's no natural lubrication source in the anus, which can make it more susceptible to damage. And when there's that damage, there's more vulnerable risk to infection. So you're going to want to think about the STI status of you and your partner or partners, and whether condoms are going to be a smart decision to help prevent any risk of transmission of STIs. It is also important to remember that if you're going from anal to vaginal penetration, to make sure to change condoms or clean up to avoid introducing bacteria into the vagina that can cause infections or other issues. Now, this is true of anything that you're using to penetrate the anus. Fingers, toys, penis. Do not go from anus to vagina or oral without changing condoms or cleaning up whatever you're inserting. If you're going from vaginal penetration to anal penetration, you don't need to change condoms or clean up first unless it's your own personal preference, because there isn't that same risk of infection going from vaginal to anal sex. I think it's important to start with all of that preparation and safety, because the more safe you feel, the more comfortable you're going to feel, and the more able you're going to be able to relax and enjoy the experience. Now I want to start talking about something that's really important. Now say it with me. Starting small and slow is the way to go. Because contrary to popular belief, anal sex shouldn't hurt. Yes, it's going to be a different sensation, and that sensation may feel very intense, but it should not hurt. And starting small and slow allows the receiver to get used to the unique sensations of anal play. If it's hurting, and especially if you are bleeding, stop immediately. This is a sign that something isn't right, and it's important to listen to your body. This is why going slow is so important, so you can get used to the new sensations. If something is painful, see if you need to take a step back, go smaller, go slower, use more lube. Maybe try again at a different time to see if your body just feels differently. Again, anal sex should not hurt. I would recommend starting with a well-lubed finger or a small toy made for anal play to get comfortable, inserting slowly, breathing, and communicating. There's that communication again. And remember, and this is going to be a really important thing, when you are engaging in anal play, only use toys with a flared base. This is super important. And the reason is because the anal sphincter can pull objects further inside, especially during orgasm. So a flared base ensures that your toy doesn't get lost and spares you a trip to the ER. Speaking of anal toys, let's talk a little bit more about them because toys can be a great introduction to anal play, and as you get more experienced, there are lots of toys to continue to explore. Butt plugs are a popular choice for newbies and veterans alike. They're designed to stay in place with a thicker middle and a tapered neck, held securely by your sphincter muscles because there's that flared base again. And you can find them in a variety of different sizes. Using them gradually, starting with a very small butt plug and then moving up to whatever you want to go to, can be a great way to start to get comfortable with anal play and the sensations. Now, butt plugs are generally inserted into the anus and then remain there for however long the person chooses. So again, this can help with getting used to that sensation while having sex. Anal beads are another popular option. These are a series of beads or bulbous sections connected together, usually with a flared handle at the end for easy removal. You can get them where the beads start small and get bigger, so you can go up in size as they are inserted, or you can find chains that are uniform in size. Now, anal beads are generally inserted slowly and then removed. The focus is generally on the sensation of insertion and pulling out. Some people like to start with this to get used to those sensations and going slow of insertion and the withdrawal, which we're also going to talk more about withdrawal a little bit later. Any vibrator or dildo with a flared base can also be used anally, and some are even designed specifically for anal play. Now, vibrating butt plugs or anal dildos with suction cups or flared bases can add an extra dimension to your play, which can allow for hands-free fun and strap-on play. Again, these come in various sizes and shapes. I would recommend moving here after you've played a little bit more with simple butt plugs or anal beads, because sometimes for people adding in vibrations or hands-free or some other elements can feel a little bit overwhelming when you're just getting used to these new sensations. But I wanted you to know that they are an option out there. If you're interested in prostate stimulation, which I would highly recommend, there are toys specifically designed for that too. They're curved to reach the P-spot easily, which can lead to more powerful orgasms that some people report. I'll link some options below of all of these toys that I just talked about. Aftercare for your toys, also really important. Always clean and disinfect them thoroughly after use so nothing grows on them or gets gunky, and they are ready to go when you are the next time. A lot of people will ask about cleanliness prior to anal sex, so let's talk about this. For comfort and cleanliness, try to go to the bathroom before anal sex, but if you can't, don't stress and do not try to force yourself because that can make things worse. When you put a finger, sex toy, or penis, or anything else with a flared base into your anus, it's going into your rectum. That's the tube between your anus, your butthole, and your colon where poop is stored. Fingers, penises, sex toys really aren't long enough to reach your colon. And poop stays in your colon until you get that feeling that you gotta go, which is when poop starts to move to your rectum so you can go. Basically, you're not gonna find poop in your rectum unless you have that gotta go feeling, but you still may run into tiny bits of flex or small amounts during anal play, and that is totally normal and absolutely nothing to feel embarrassed, ashamed, or surprised about if a little bit of poop shows up, and it is absolutely nothing to shame or ridicule or make your partner feel bad if some of their poop shows up. You guys are playing in the anus, but it's gonna be just little tiny bits. If you or your partner's body parts do come into contact with poop, just make sure to wash them with soap and water and you're good. Now, if prior to anal play you feel a little bit more comfortable, you can use a mild soap and clean cloth to gently wash the area around your genitals and anus, and then rinse well afterward. Next, let's discuss positions. And you can really have anal play and anal sex in any position you want, but there's some that I have found that newbies tend to prefer. First is missionary, because missionary can provide a sense of familiarity when trying something new, and it allows for easy communication and eye contact, which can be helpful in a new experience. Now, doggy style laying down can be helpful because it's a rear entry position that gives the giver a better view and control. And if you still want to have eye contact, you can always do this in front of a mirror. Some people like rider or formerly known as cowgirl. Here, the receiver is on top and gives them control over the pace and depth of the penetration, which can be really helpful for some people who want to really go at their own speed. Spooning is the side-by-side position, and there's lots of skin-to-skin contact in this position, which can help create intimacy and a feeling of connection, which can help relax partners. Now, you're gonna have to experiment with what works for you, because what one person likes about a certain position may be the thing that you dislike the most. So always, always, always go with what you and your partner or partners enjoy and works for you without thinking of what you should or shouldn't be doing. Lastly, I want to talk about withdrawal. When you or your partner is ready to pull out the penis, finger, or toy, be sure to withdraw slowly. Many receivers will say initially it can feel as though they are pooping, and there can be this kind of panic of, oh my goodness, am I pooping, when something is withdrawn. Remember, you are not pooping. That's only when you have that gotta go feeling. But going slow can help you adjust to that feeling and prevent any worry or panic or discomfort. Now, I also want to note, if you're having sex with a penis owner, you may want to consider whether you're comfortable with them ejaculating inside your anus, because the semen will come back out the way it went in, and for some people that's not a problem. Others don't like that kind of later dripping feeling, as they might describe it, from their anus. Now, you may also not know whether it bothers you or whether you like it or not, but it's something to think about and talk about. Communication is key, remember. There you have it, an introduction to anal play for first timers. Remember, communication, preparation, and relaxation are key to make this a positive experience. And remember, we are thinking about toys with flared bases. We are thinking about what type of lube you're using with what type of toy. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content to help you have more satisfying and secure sex and relationships.